Cause how you walking with a lion got me feeling like Micah. I've been known to wear the team on my back like a biker. Shorty won't be with a star, but you lucky if I invite you. We can take it to the next spot. They yelling like Prescott. Everybody like, there ain't no breaks, no rest stop. We tryna get your head chopped. The whole club yelling. Everybody.
Here we go. Victory Formation Podcast. We back in this thing after the first game, Eddie. I know you're feeling good. You feeling good?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a lot better than I think a lot of people are feeling regarding the first game. So I mean, it was a loss, but we move, we learn, we move on. Week 2.
Man, I'm feeling really good, mostly because I've been sick for 3 weeks, upper respiratory infection, got some steroids, got a shot in my butt. They gave me an inhaler, and man, this is the first time I've felt good in 3 weeks. So that's what I'm feeling
nice
about.
Nice. Like you can breathe.
Woo,
But
big time.
Who's not feeling good is is some of these Cowboys on our team getting ready for week 2. That
oh man,
I don't know if you
Who's
saw.
hurt? Who's hurt?
Well, not so much hurt. What I wanted to talk about was these unhurt people that aren't playing. These healthy scratches that we saw on
oh man
on Thursday, and that we're
it was one big one. It was one big one.
Yeah, it was. Our boy Mozzie, right? Our boy Mozzie and our boy Blue. Now Mozzie, we figured is not going to play.
I think Blue's bigger because I expected him to play. He didn't play. Mozzie, I was not surprised at all. He was inactive.
You know, my want of him to play and expect him to play is different. You know, I don't know what's going on with Blue. I don't know what is happening behind the curtain. From what we hear from Shoddy and everything is that, I mean, he's just saying coach speak. Like, you got to earn your spot, but he's just not in there. And I don't know why.
Yeah. And you know what? So I'll say this. I like the way he says it, like Shoddy, that he's like, hey, you got to earn it. And if Blue's not ready, then he doesn't play because, previous regimes would play. But then there was certain players who I felt, and they suck. Why are they playing? Like, they were terrible. So it's like, I don't know. They shouldn't get the...
Like who?
Like for instance, the linebacker that played every snap. I felt he was terrible, but he played every single snap. Sanborn. He played 62 snaps. He was so bad.
I think it could be something like practice, like what you're talking about, like behind the scenes in like practice and stuff.
Yeah, that's why I said I need context, and that's why I say I need context. He might have Sanborn might have practiced well. He just had a bad game, which that's understandable. You don't pull him up for that, and so that's why I said it depends on the context. But if he had a bad practice, but they still put him in there, then it's like all that stuff he was talking about went out the window. So, but yeah,
my only thing about Blue, and I'll drop it after this, is that we knew who we were drafting. We had eyes on him being, Texas fans. We had eyes on him in college, and there was a lot of times where you kind of question yourself, why isn't Blue in the game anymore? Blue had a lot of times where he didn't even play games, and there was disciplinary actions, and there was things that were happening that we didn't know about. And then he comes here, and then we're kind of we're not seeing that there's disciplinary, but we're just seeing weird. It's just a weird vibe with the coaches. I don't know what's going on with it. I'd like to know.
And there were rumors like this before, like some random the old running backs coach from like 20 years ago came on and said, "I've been hearing this," and hey, I guess it turned out he was right. I mean, I don't know.
We talked about it, and then everyone's like, "Nah." And we're like, "Yeah, we're hoping. We hope it changes. The narrative just changes."
One weird thing I saw, I had to drop it. Hey, remember that clip they showed of Guyton? He did that left hook and punched that guy. Yeah, it wasn't a flag. No, it wasn't a punt. It was a Dak pass. But anyway, it wasn't a flag. But they fined him anyway. They fined him $12,172.
What's funny is that I bet you he wouldn't have been fined if that wasn't so retweeted.
Played all over the place. Yeah. They said it constituted unsportsmanlike conduct. It's not really an NFL play, which I mean I agree, but I'm like, man, that's crazy. It didn't even get a flag. So man, he said he plans to appeal. So we'll see.
If I was Jerry, I'd say, hey, I'll pay that fine every single week. Yeah. The funny thing is, if you think back, do you remember that one tweet where we see him shadow boxing in the rain before. And he's like, I'm getting ready for the season. And we're like, oh, look at that. Look at him. It really came full circle right there. Some exciting
thing
news
is,
what's up,
I was about to say that the biggest sad news, someone got hurt. Who got hurt?
Who got hurt? Oh man, we don't want to talk about Bland today was seen in a walking boot. We don't really know too much context about it. A lot of people were kind of freaking out, thinking it might be the foot again because he was out for 10 games last year for it. But your boy, tell him the news. What did your boy say?
Oh, Broadus. Hey, so the good thing is it wasn't his foot as he injured last year. It was his ankle. So that's the good news. Like, it's not like a re-aggravation or maybe a broken foot or a broken bone where you're 4 to 6 weeks or 8 weeks.
Jeez,
it's just an ankle.
Biggest fear.
So, I think it's one of those things where if he had to play, he could play next week, but as precautionary, and he already has foot issues, they'll probably hold him out.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it was almost like, remember when Dak was getting on the boat in the offseason, he had the boot on, and everybody's my God. And they were like, hey, this is to protect things throughout the week so that when he is ready to play, he's ready. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
What's the big fancy news that happened today?
Exciting news today is that we had a visit from one of Jerry's War Eagles that he had called out early in his career. Javon Clowney came in for a visit today and worked out for us. Still waiting on news on how that worked. Jadeveon.
Yeah, they said no signing news, but I mean, he's been all over. He was there all day, so it's one of those. I don't see why they wouldn't, unless he fails a physical or he's just out of shape or he just sucks.
Unless he just I want to see what my options are. Hey, bud, these are your options. But when I heard the first news, a lot of people were tweeting, "Oh no, another wannabe kind of older vet that we should have signed 2 or 3 years ago." But if you look at his stats from last year when he was with Carolina, he did have 5.5 sacks. He had 29 quarterback pressures. He had 11 tackles for losses last year. I mean, he has. If we're looking at stats from last year, he has miles on the tread left. He did also have a high of 9.5 sacks just 2 years ago, and that was his career high. So it's not like we're getting somebody that is just maybe has 25% left in the tank. I think because he has been bouncing from team to team and he comes a little bit later, he's that role. He's a rotational, get after the ball kind of guy.
Yeah. So the only thing I would say that would also probably stop him from signing here is if he just is determined to get a certain amount of money, I need $13 million this year. Something weird like that. That would stop the Cowboys from signing him. Unless, I mean, if I'm him, I'd come in because this is a perfect opportunity. You'll play with a good defensive coordinator and you have a chance to literally come in and start immediately.
100%.
It's nobody I'm seeing that's no Micah Parsons blocking him from playing.
Yeah, no, and he definitely, I think he would meld right in with that rotation, right? He could. So I'm excited for that. Little bit of NFL news before we get into kind of Giants Cowboys. Little bit of panic in Miami. I don't know if you guys saw the game with the Dolphins this weekend, but it was so bad. It was a shit show, wasn't it?
They were terrible. But
it's not like it was.
But they had everybody though. I don't understand. They had everybody. Nobody was hurt. They're normal people. They had the quarterback, wide receiver, running back, the offensive lineman, tight end. Well, Jonnu Smith wasn't there. Yeah, but they had everybody.
It's not like they're playing like a juggernaut. They were playing the Colts, and it kind of fell apart. And a lot of people are saying, okay, Mike McDaniel is going to be on the hot seat right now. He's on the hottest seat of any coach in the NFL right now. Tua's terrible. Everybody's thinking,
man,
there's
some
nothing.
Thought he had a concussion during the game, like he got hit.
I don't mean to laugh about that, but the thing the reason why I bring this up is this going to lead to trades? That's what's happening right now. Is that Miami's getting a bunch of calls for these high profile players that they have, like Tyreek. I mean, they have pass rushers that are just elite. They have, I mean, they
Chubb,
have
yeah.
offensive linemen. It's just ridiculous. So, hopefully, in my opinion, they break Miami up and then they start over, because I'd like to see some of those players in other spots.
I would like Mike McDaniel to come be our offensive or our pass game coordinator.
Come on over, brother.
He's a genius.
I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind to see a little bit of, energy that he brings, because he kind of seems like a Schottenheimer kind of guy, like running around, clapping, high-fiving people kind of thing.
All right, let's keep it going. What happened to Jalen Carter?
Mr. Spitter quitter.
Yeah, he doesn't swallow, he spits.
He did get NFL went ahead and did fine him the $57,000, some odd change, something that is not going to really affect him too much. What is that, like a game check? It's like a half a game check for him.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say I saw a note that said something about since it was like the first 2-3 plays of the game, they considered that the 1 game suspension, so they're not going to suspend him anymore.
Yeah. So the problem that I have with it is that 2 days later in college there was the same exact instance, and it was it's almost you have to make an example, or else people are not going to learn from it. But whatever, it is what it is. You do that on the street, you're going to go to jail. So don't do that.
Exactly. I'm like, man, this guy here, man. Like, I don't know where they do that at, but
So there was a little bit more on Eagles news. They traded for a running back yesterday. They traded Jacksonville. They sent a 5th and a 6th for Tank Bigsby. I don't know if I was the Cowboys. I don't know if I would reach, but he's young and what do you think? I wasn't the biggest fan of Tank.
I don't care about it. Yeah, I don't think that's going to move the needle. Like, for instance, they got what's the other guy? The other wide receiver they got, Mechie from Houston. That everybody was like, "Oh, Mechie, why don't the Cowboys make these moves?" Like, he might have played 4 or 5 snaps. So like, these are moves that they're doing for depth pieces, which every team does that. But they're blowing Howie like he's a genius for picking up players that are there to replace injured people. Like, he's not making like trading for a Parsons or whatever. He's just getting, that's what all GMs do. It's not a big deal. I don't care about it.
I agree. There was some drama in San Francisco. They're just sick and tired of the kicker. They finally dropped him, but also there's some injury news on there. Christian McCaffrey is always hurt here and there.
Man. Brock Purdy looks like he's about to be out for weeks.
And they also what's his name? Their tight end's out for like 4 to 6 weeks now too.
Kittle's on IR. Brock Purdy is going to be out for like 2 to 3 weeks. McCaffrey was already banged up. So, man, I might fade them this weekend.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, good looking out there. We got Micah made his Green Bay debut.
He looked pretty good.
He makes Green Bay's defense a little more scarier.
He looked pretty good.
It wasn't that he got in there and he was the small fish in the big pond. He's surrounded by a lot of good defensive players. So that defense just got better. Right.
Yeah.
Bills, Ravens. That Monday Night Football was everything the NFL wanted.
Crazy.
I don't know if it made it, but it was everything the NFL wanted. It was high flying, defense. That team was big. It made a big comeback. It was just ridiculous. It was a good game to watch. Exciting. If you fell asleep early,
I did. I got to go. I'm a working man. I have to go to work. I can't be up 11 o'clock at night watching football.
You're right. You're old.
I just watched the highlights. So I watch my NFL Plus subscription and rewatch it.
Hey, that's. I always say to Prescott when at the end of the day, I don't know how he can go to bed not knowing the outcome of things. But the only thing that tells me is that he is at so much peace in his heart that he's able to just go to sleep.
I decided to not let millionaires who don't care about me affect my peace of mind. It's so hard.
Teach me.
I had to take medicine when the Cowboys game went into the weather delay. I had to take some sleep meds because there's no way I could have just fell asleep. I'd have been up the whole time. Anyway, all right, let's talk about some Giants. Wait, no. But before that, let's revisit the Eagles game real quick.
Okay.
And let's we got a new segment for you guys. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
I need to get a cowboy
we all
hat
get
for
to
this.
pick 3 people because we're cowboys. So you know what? You're the guest. You go first.
All right. So
age before beauty. Age before beauty.
Our new segment is this good, the bad, the ugly. We're gonna focus on players that we felt had a good or shown out good, bad, and then we're just had maybe ugly mistakes. So the first, I believe, Dak had the game that we needed him to have. Although, the results weren't what we wanted, Dak was probably the best player on the field, in my opinion. So the good, I'm going to give to Dak. The bad, I'm going to give to our linebackers, and specifically Sanborn and Clark. I physically, literally watched 2 plays where Clark backed up, went forward, went to the side, spun around backwards, didn't know what he was doing, put his hands up in the air, and then the play was over. 2 plays like that. So,
man.
And then the ugly was CD's drops. Although he had a career game that most of us were really excited about, it was just those 2 or 3 drops that really killed us in the long run. That's my answer.
The craziest part is he would have had like 230 yards receiving if he would have caught those balls. That's insane. And he still ended up with like 120 yards receiving. That's how good he was. Anyway, so my good is, of course, Dak. There's some clips going around of Dak just throwing dimes, like that drop. Like it was like 3 or 4 that hit the receiver in their hand with defenders all over, like Lamb dropped. It was one in the end zone with Ferguson dropped. The one to Schoonmaker, he threw it perfectly over the defense, hit Schoon in both hands, and he dropped it. Like, it was insane, the dimes he was throwing, man. Anyway, so he was my good. My bad was Lamb. And let's see. So my bad was Lamb. The drops. They were just, and I gotta give it to him. First game, you can give it to him. But I feel like he got the big contract. He's the number 1 guy. He's got to make those catches. Like, there's no excuse. And I like that he took ownership of it. The next day, he spent hours on the jugs machine. So you know what? It's cool. I can live with that. Then my ugly. Oh, Miles Sanders, man. That was just, man, like you already have a limited role. You already know people are calling for you to be replaced with Blue. And so two things. First, he makes the big play. You're like, yeah, Miles Sanders. Now he's making plays. Fumble on the next play. And then Dak saved the touchdown. A miracle save by Dak.
Oh,
but the worst part is,
could have added that to the good about Dak. He saved our ass right there.
Yeah, and then the worst part about it was getting caught by the linebacker. I'm like, you're a running back. Like, you, even if you on a linebacker start off, you're supposed to pull ahead of a linebacker. A linebacker's not supposed to catch you, man. And that's just me. If you're a running back, if you're a big tight end, then maybe if you're Jason Witten, I'd expect him to catch you. But you're a running back. A linebacker not supposed to catch you. So that was my like.
You know what's crazy is that Ron was sitting there and he's trying to punch the ball out too. It's not like
gave him an extra 10, 15 yards.
He was trying to punch the ball and everything.
All right, so that was our good, our bad, not ugly. So
I like that.
But overall, so I would give just a final pin on the Eagles game. I was pleasantly surprised. I think we battled well. It was certain things that we used to do that we didn't do this game, like penalties. We didn't have a lot of dumb penalties. In fact, the Eagles are the ones that had dumb penalties. They extended drives, stuff that we used to do. We battled. Our defense decided, you know what? Like, before we couldn't stop the run, and they would normally last all game. But in the second half, we completely shut it down. At one point, Barkley had like 8 rushes for 12 yards at one point. 8 rushes for 12 yards. Or 11 yards. It was some small number, and they shut it down. Maybe just couldn't score.
Remember, that's a running back that that ran for 2,000 yards last
2,000 yards last year. And he killed us like with he had 60 yards this game. He had like 160 something last year. So he destroyed us. But I like the trajectory. Like now with certain groups, I felt like our cornerbacks played well, but our linebackers didn't do well. Our defensive line played okay, but our run defense played right. So it's like, and then our offensive line played well, running backs played well, wide receivers were so, quarterback was great. So it was like more positives than negatives. And I think we'll do just fine because I think it's only going to get better as we learn, as they get more comfortable playing the scheme, learning each other. Mingo's going to come back, and it's just going to be great. I feel it. Blue's going to start playing, and he's going to earn the trust of the coaches. So it's going to be great. So
I
now
agree.
we can talk about it.
I think the positives far outweigh the negatives from when we look back at the game. Did not expect a lot of what we saw. Did not expect the run game to be so effective. Did not expect our defensive line to be able to penetrate like they did. A lot of people said, defensive line, you missed Micah. You didn't get a lot of pressures. Whoa, surprise when the freaking numbers really come out. Dallas was actually third in the league in percentage of pressures.
Pressure rate, like 41%. Yeah, I saw that.
Like 40, almost 42%. So it was like there was pressure. It's just we need to get home when we make the pressure because that's what it was all about. It hurts. You get pressure on him, he's just going to leak out, and that's what he did.
And you don't even need to have sacks to win the game because Dak didn't get sacked not one time. He had pressures, but they pressured Hurts more than the Eagles pressured Dak, and they still won the game. So it's important, but you don't need it to win the game.
This weekend coming up with this preview, I mean, their leading rusher was Wilson. He had 44 yards. So it's not like he's going to be very fast. He's not Hurts. He's not he's not in that shape. He's just effective with the when he does release.
Yeah.
Right?
He doesn't lift the run, but he will run. Yeah. So that leads us into our Giants preview. What are the keys to win? What do you think we got to do to win this game?
Okay. Keys to win. We got it. We have to run to open up the pass. We can't be the other way around. Not with this defense. This defensive line is very, very stout and good. We need to be able to keep their linebackers honest. So we need to be able to run to open this pass up. As soon as we do that, we need to be able to catch the ball, catch the frickin' ball. But, I mean, I think this, we're going to go over some points here, but the main thing we need to understand here is whoever, because of last week and what happened between both of our teams, whoever loses this game is now 0-2 in the division.
0-2.
To start the year, and it's going to be pretty difficult to climb out of that 0-2 start. So we need to win this game. It's, people say, it's going to be a breeze. We're going to beat the Giants at home. I remember when Eli signed our fucking wall.
Yeah.
So that has to be some sort of motivation.
To be fair, that got drafted in 2016. 2016. I still remember him and Zeke drafted the same year. He lost both his starts to the Giants that year. He hadn't lost to them since. As long as he's healthy, we beat the Giants. It's like 13 games. He's won his last 13 games. Like the only time they've beaten us is the times when he didn't play. It was like Rush or somebody else.
God, so it's insane how with Dak's schedule. I mean, his record against the East is crazy.
Man, he's 13-2, and he's on the 13 win streak against the Giants. Now, playing the Giants, they're not bums. So let's get that out of their head. Anybody can beat anybody in the NFL. So I don't take anything for granted. 100%. With that being said, we should win this game comfortably. Like when I see their defense, nobody's scared. So they have Brian Burns, the big free agent pickup they signed, and they have Abdul Carter. That's their draft pick. I really like Abdul Carter coming out of Penn State. Then their best defender is Dexter Lawrence, Sexy Dexy. He's a nose tackle. So they play a 3-4 type defense. So he's a nose tackle. Brian Burns and Abdul Carter, those are their two defensive ends. And then, surprisingly, they have the linebacker, Okereke. And he had 16 tackles against Washington, which Washington is no slouch.
He was all over the fucking field.
He was all over the place. So he did exactly what Damone Clark did, except the opposite. So they mirror each other. But on defense, if we can do anything to stop their pass rush, their defense can't do anything with it. I'm like, their cornerbacks. I don't know any of these guys. Flott, Drew Phillips. Well, Deonte Banks, I know him, but he's like at the end of his career type player.
It's Neighbors and Washington. Washington's gonna he's the key, I believe, because he's sometimes unguardable. He's that guy that is gonna be in motion a lot. They're gonna try and get him matched up with somebody that is in their favor. So we just need to be careful with him. Got to keep a safety on top, over the top of Neighbors, because that's, let him catch everything underneath. Let him make a tackle. We just can't let him get deep.
The good thing is that's what Eberflus defense is about. It's about limiting big plays, keep everything in front of you. You want to break up all the plays. You want, like, they don't let you catch, but if you do catch it, it's going to be little short dink and dunk. They want you to drive, put together a 10 to 14 play drive, and hope you make a mistake. Do a holding, get a penalty, whatever.
You know what this game reminds me of is last week, Cincinnati played Cleveland. Cincinnati should have dog walked Cleveland on paper.
Man, yeah.
Cleveland had a chance to win at the end of the game. Cincinnati was freaking out. Throughout there. The fans.
Kicker blew the game. They had the game won. Missed a field goal and an extra point, and they lost by 1 point.
So, that's why I'm saying that game scares me a little bit, thinking about us playing the Giants, because we don't want to come into this game like, who are we playing next week? We got to get through the Giants. Who are we playing next week? We can't overlook these guys. We always do that.
This is where Shotty comes in. This is where Shotty comes in to how he played, like how he coaches. Like, are we going to be ready? Like, Neighbors can destroy a team. Wilson, he can reach into his bag. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Like, he's not good now, but he still has that in him to where for one game he can pop up. So it's like, you don't want to be that one game where you decide to let Russell Wilson throw 4 moon balls, 3 of them a touchdown. So it's like, you gotta be smart.
You know what excites me?
I'm nervous about Tracy and Neighbors. Yeah. Those are only 2 people on defense I'm nervous about. Wan'Dale Robinson, he is like the Turpin on that team. They use him, like, sometimes they'll put him in the backfield. They'll do the bubble screens or the quick passes. So he's the one they get to worry about in the Turpin role. Slayton is just he's just like average. So it's not like we had to plan for him. Neighbors the only person you have to plan for. And then Scatterbo, I just like him as a player. I wish we had drafted him, so we got to watch out for him.
Exactly. One thing that I do want to make, the defensive lineman that we got from Green Bay, what's his name?
Kenny Clark.
Well, Kenny Clark said today, or it might have been yesterday, that when he was they're interviewing about his performance. He said, "Yeah, I felt comfortable. I brought what I brought to the Eagles, but he's like, now I feel comfortable in the team. Now I know what I'm doing." So he's like,
bad news.
He said, "Watch this weekend what happens." So what that does is it made me a little. It hardened my nipples a little bit,
just a little,
to hear that, just a little. That's all we ever wanted, right? We wanted that defensive tackle that says, "You're not going to run on me, whatever you do." So you figure out something else.
I don't know who John Michael Schmitz is, their center, but he's about to have a bad time.
Nice.
Anyway, but overall, so what are you thinking? What are you thinking about the Giants game?
Overall,
you think we win? You think we lose?
Overall,
what's the score prediction?
Because it's not a late game, because it's an early game, we're going to beat the Giants. My feeling is the late NBC Sunday night football with the Giants.
Oh, I hate.
We always lose that game for some reason. I hate it, but we're the 1 o'clock game. We're gonna whoop the Giants' ass. Pray that there's no injuries. We move on to the next opponent, and that we actually utilize this game to get better and come together as a team and a coaching staff. That's all I'm asking. Can we ask anything
So what's your
more?
score prediction? What's your score prediction? What do you think?
27-13.
It's pretty good. And so the only way we lose this game is if we let their defensive line dictate the game. I forgot, and then we did not forgot about him. I didn't even mention Kayvon Thibodeau, their last year first round draft pick. He plays the opposite. So it's Brian Burns on one side. He's on the other side.
2 years ago.
Carter. I'm sorry, 2 years ago. And then Carter is the one they just drafted this year. And so they have 3 really good, and Burns, of course, who came from the Panthers. That's 3 really good pass rushers that they have. Add in Dexter Lawrence. So
Dexter Lawrence, they weren't unstoppable. He's
really, like, to me, I think he's the best defensive tackle in the game. But
I wouldn't argue.
But that's just me. And
I wouldn't argue that at all.
And the Washington C-words, they kind of controlled them last game. And that's why they didn't do anything, because the offense is not anything to be scared of. Now, as a professional team, you want to respect them, but they're nothing to be scared of. The defense is something that can be scared of. You can tame them a little bit, then it's going to be a decent game as long as you can execute. If we can execute, I see us winning this game like 30-10 type thing. So it just depends on how much we execute.
You try to look at like what last week and compare. You can't really compare Washington's offense to our offense against the Giants because they have the running quarterback threat that we don't have. But they don't have the arm threat that we have with Dak and the sit in the pocket kind of thing. So our offensive line, I think, is head and shoulders above Washington. So we're gonna have a battle. Cooper Beebe and Booker and Tyler they're going to be sore and tired after, but I bet you we're going to have a good outcome.
If we can get Steele to hold up, because I think Guyton's going to be okay with whoever's on his side. If Steele can just be average against, so like, let's say Kayvon Thibodeau's against Guyton, and then we have Burns or Carter against Steele. If Steele can just be average against those guys, maybe just give up 1 sack, I think we'll be just fine.
It's just making sure, bring the pressure on the outside. I invite it because our tackles know how to drive. Let you run all the way to the sideline outside.
Yeah. Just run up the field.
It's the problem up the middle is don't get pressure on Dak's feet because he's not comfortable with it. So that's what we need to do.
Yeah, because Romo used to famously say that. He was like, "Hey, if anybody's going to come free, let the guys on the outside come free. Mm-hmm. I can handle those guys. The ones that's coming up the middle, like if they blitz straight up or the nose tackle, defensive tackle comes through, that gave him problems. And so it's the same thing with them. If they can corral Dexter and just let Brian, Dak can step up or move to the side to get around those guys, and that's easier. So I think, and also Thomas, their left tackle, he's going to be out. So that's another plus for us.
I've heard that if Steele does not have a good week with the running game, then they're talking about bringing Thomas and moving him over to right tackle because he has run. Because if we're going to continue to keep running the ball, might as well put somebody that can road grade over on the right tackle.
Yeah, so they said Nate Thomas is a strong individual. He doesn't have the nimble feet that Guyton has for pass protection, but
he's a giant.
In a perfect world, in a perfect world where we're winning by 20 points, you put Nate Thomas in just to grind someone in the dust. Over. Like, well, we're running every play.
Hell yeah! But that's all about. That's all I got.
One good thing for us is we have 2 people on the injury report. DaRon Bland, we talked about, and Malik Hooker. He showed up with the foot. He was just limited. But he should play. DaRon Bland is the only person right now who's looking like he won't play. So we're good.
And we talked about this earlier offline. What we do believe is going to happen, because if Bland's not going to play, then when we did sign those 2 corners a few weeks ago, Reddy Stewart and if you can help me with the
Chiqueezy. Lil Weezy. Man,
okay, Lil Weezy. These 2 guys, they are coming. Chiqueezy is a rookie that has shown a lot of promise at Florida. He had a really tough preseason. They released him. We picked him up. He has a high ceiling. He's like 6'2", 220, very athletic. Reddy Stewart is a ball hawk. like in between safety, nickel kind of corner. But he comes from an Eberflus defense. He came from Chicago. He's a ball hawk, so maybe one of those guys gets intertwined in that. My guess is we brought Childress back for a reason. He worked all off season on that slot cornerback, and he showed us that he can play that position. So if we brought him back, I believe we need to bring him up and play him on Sunday. That's my guess.
So I just saw this thing where they had the highest graded defensive rookies, and Abdul Carter was number 5. So out of all rookies that played defense, he was the 5th best rookie last week.
It was him and Burns that played a majority of the snaps on the outside. Yeah. Thibodeau came in on rotational, but they have 3 guys that can get to the quarterback easily.
The good thing is, our offensive line can handle him. Like I don't have anybody who I'm like, man, he's gonna get destroyed. Like I believe all of them can hold up. Like I mean, BB, like for example, BB, he had 18 pass rush sets all game Sunday, 0 pressures, like nothing. They couldn't get to him at all.
I can't wait. Well, this is gonna be a good matchup. I really am excited about it.
And so, if anything bad happens, it's going to be because we couldn't run the ball, control the line of scrimmage, and Dak had to pass too much, and their defensive line teed off on us. So if we lose, I guarantee it'll be because of that. If we can
beat ourselves.
Yeah, if we can have any kind of run game like we did against Philadelphia, which in my eyes, Philadelphia has a better everything than the Giants. So better defensive line, cornerbacks, running back, offensive line. So if we can run the ball like we did against the Eagles, this game will be a lot easier than against the Eagles because they don't have the firepower to keep up with us. To keep because Hurts was just driving down the field. Like the first 5 drives, I think they scored, and it's like we weren't stopping them. I don't see that happening with the Giants. I don't see them scoring 4 drives in a row, 5 drives in a row.
No, I don't believe so either. It was the Eagles' offense is one of the ones was like, even if you give them 2 minutes, there's too much time left on the clock. Right? Yeah. They're like the Chiefs. So the Giants, I don't have that same feeling. They need to have a drive of like 8-9 plays in order to score most times. So
So
play some defense.
That's it.
Before we get done, I do have one thing I do want to mention. My friend, my friend that I grew up with in California, Matt, is has a son that I believe that we've talked about on this pod before in the very beginning.
Showed a video of him.
Year and a half ago. Yeah, we showed a video of him. Kid is growing up so fast. He's now in 7th grade. They moved him from free safety to linebacker and running back. He didn't want to play linebacker, but Matt told him they only put the players that they trust at middle linebacker in 7th grade. Right? So this kid is head and shoulders above the competition around him. He's very good. I've seen a lot of clips about him. I'm very excited. But I wanted to mention him today because he is there's a contest right now nationally for the National Youth Athlete of the Year. And he actually is, I believe he's top 3 right now. So what I wanted to do was I'm going to have Prescott drop a link in the description that allows you to jump on there and vote for him. His name is Trip Everett. And it would mean the world to me if you could jump on there and just let the country know how great of an athlete this kid is. He deserves it. So Trip Everett, remember that name. One of these days we're gonna be talking about him. But check out the description for that. I appreciate everybody listening. I mean, I know I don't know if we're done, but I don't have anything else left about this game. I'm ready to watch some Dallas Cowboy victory this week. That's what I expect.
Man, I got a basketball game at 4:00. So I'll like at the very end of this game, I'll be driving there. So I expect that when I walk off the court Sunday, I'll be happy because the stats are great.
You got 2 victories.
Blew them out. Yeah, so I'm ready for it. So
nice.
Everybody, pray to whatever God you pray for that the Cowboys have a victory. We can't go 0-2 in the start and 0-2 in the division, that's double bad. So we need to win this game.
That's what it is. We want to make sure whoever loses this game is on the bottom of the division. It's going to be hard to climb out.
So, yeah, man. So anyway, so we'll holler at y'all next time. Next time y'all hear from us, we'll tell you what went right, what went wrong. We'll have a good, bad, and ugly next time. And y'all vote for my boy, Trip. We need him to win. Because if he gets famous, then he can come back and take us to Sizzlers. We're going Sizzlers.
Yeah, bring him on and bring on all his followers too, probably. So
that's what I'm talking about.
You know how it is, DC for life. Hug your kids. You know, today some crazy shit happened politically, but we just gotta make sure that you're hugging everyone. Hold your loved ones close. Make sure you tell them you love them because you might not get a chance to say it again.
It's crazy out there. So y'all stay good.